Chapter 4, Converting Units of Measure within Volume or Weight. The objective of this unit is for you to convert units of measure within weight and volume. This is similar to conversions that you did in your culinary basics, pastry, and cuisine chef classes. So let's get started. So before we do anything, let's just make sure we're on the same page in terms of the basics of measurement. So between US weight and volume, we convert ounces to pounds, quarts to pints, and then tablespoons to cups. This is important because a lot of the problems we're going to be doing with culinary math are 2 to 3 steps. So you might have to break down ounces to pounds and then quarts to pints. You have to do a lot of different conversions, and you need to know a lot of different equivalents. Then between the metric and the US system, grams to ounces, fluid ounces to liters. So that's going to be a little bit more complex for us, which is why it's really important that you are referencing chapter 3 and all of those metric system equivalents. And then between volume and weight, so pounds to cups, grams to teaspoons, etc. So again, make sure you are referencing all the information in chapter 3 because each chapter is going to build upon the next. So here's a little bit more equivalent review. Again, we went over a lot of this in chapter 3, and this was reviewed to you at the US standard system, but here it is again for reference. So you can see the gram to milligram, kilogram to 1,000 grams, etc. So this is a really good slide for you to reference and is printed for you in your culinary math workbook. So the next concept we're going to talk about is called the bridge method. So the bridge method is 8 steps, and you should reference these 8 steps when you are setting up a recipe for conversion, all right? So it's not perfect, but when you are following it and you see written examples, this is what you're going to reference. So step 1, if you are converting a whole number, you're going to put it over 1. If it is a fraction, you're going to first convert it to a decimal and then put it over 1. Step 3, place a multiplication sign next to it. Step 4, draw another fraction line. Step 5, put in the units of measurement. And then the unit of measurement to be removed is written on the bottom. The unit of measurement being converted is written on the top. Step 6, you're going to enter the numbers to create the equivalency. So you're going to have to reference all your equivalent charts, whatever is, needed in that specific problem. Step 7, you're going to multiply straight across, disregarding the different unit of measurements. You may need to reduce. And then step 8, you're going to cancel like units and carry over remaining unit of measurement. So this is a lot. I obviously am kind of reading you the signs with a little example, but I do have some examples on the next slide. So here is the an example of using this bridge method. So you can see here, step 1, the example is 36 ounces of raisins and you're converting them to pounds, okay? So it might be a simple conversion if you know the equivalents, but if this is an easy way for you to apply the bridge method, and again, the more you do it, the easier it's going to be. So for step 1, like it says, if you are converting a whole number, put it over 1. So in this case, 36 is our whole number, and so we put 36 ounces over 1. Step 2, if it is a fraction, first convert it to a decimal, then put it over 1. But it's not a fraction, so we don't need to do that. Then step 3, place a multiplication sign next to it. So you can see here, we put 36 ounces over 1. We put our multiplication sign next to it. So then step 3, we're going to draw another line. So we did that here. And then you are going to put in the units of measurement. So we are converting it to pounds. So you're just going to put pounds right on the top, and then underneath you're converting it with ounces. So you put ounces on the bottom. So then on step 5, you're going to do 36 times 1, which is going to give you 36 ounces, and then 1 times 16, which would lead us to step 6, which is 36 ounces over 16. You're going to divide that, and when you do that, it's going to give you 2.5 or 2.25 pounds. So I wrote it as a decimal or as a mixed number. So the whole number 2 and then the quarter of a pound proper fraction. You can write it as a fraction in 9/14, but the answer is 2.25 pounds. All right. So that's example. Here's another example of 12 teaspoons of cayenne pepper to cups, but this is 2 steps. So you're going to follow all of the steps again. So here you can see I'm converting 12 teaspoons to cups. So I'm going to write 12 over 1, 12 teaspoons over 1. I'm going to put a multiplication sign, and then I'm going to multiply it by 1 tablespoon, because I have to first convert teaspoons to tablespoons, and then I'll convert tablespoons to cups. So then there are 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon. So that's why I have the 3 teaspoons on the bottom, and then I'm going to multiply. So 12 times 1 is going to turn into 12, and then 1 times 3 is going to turn into 3, which gives us 12 over 3. I'm going to divide 12 by 3, which gives us 4 tablespoons. But again, the question is asking us to convert it to cups. So now I have it in tablespoons. Now my next step is I'm going to apply the bridge method the same exact way, following the bridge method steps, and I'm going to convert tablespoons to cups. So I'm going to put my whole number, 4 tablespoons over 1. I'm going to put my multiplication sign, draw a line. I'm going to do the 1 tablespoon on the top as the numerator, and I'm going to do 16 tablespoons on the bottom as the denominator, because there are 16 tablespoons in a cup, which is why I'm using the equivalent. I'm going to multiply, so 4 times 1 is 4, and 1 times 16 is 16. So 4 divided by 16, when I calculate that, I get 0.25 or 1/4. So when we do the 12 teaspoons of cayenne pepper to cups, I'm going to get 1/4 of a cup. Again, if you have any questions, reference the steps for the bridge method or ask your teacher for help. Now we're going to go into, and you can do your 4 written practice problems. You will reference the equivalents in the chapter 3 and 4, and you may need to use some of the calculation steps from chapter 1 and 2. Again, if you have any questions, make sure to ask your teacher, but make sure you're referencing your printed steps on your slides in your culinary math workbook. You can watch the chapter 4 written problems screencast to help you with these problems.